Hi, I'm Ryan, and who are you?
Hi, I'm Luke Reynolds.
And we play in the band Guster. We have a bag, and we filled it full of records, and we're going to talk about all the records that we liked and why we picked them. What do you think?
I like it. Thank you very much.
It's no good when you're gone. Leave us happy and warm for a long, long time.
It wasn't on my list, but I saw it, and it's Peter, Bjorn, and John Writer's Block. But it's an amazing pop record, and I listened to this the other day, and I feel like the side A of this record is so, I mean, Writer's Block, Object of My Affection, Young Folks, Take Me Down, and then Up Against the Wall is like a sleeper jam.
It's almost that I wish you had me up against the wall.
Yeah, that record sounds amazing too.
Okay, thank you, Luke.
All right, you're welcome. All right, here we go. John Cage, early electronic and tape music. I just finished reading his book Silence, which is like a collection of his essays from like the 50s and like early 60s. He was a an important composer, contemporary composer, and also super forward thinking. And so anyways, I don't have this. I haven't heard this, but the early tape music, that sounds really interesting to me. So anyways, John Cage, that's the first thing in my bag.
Part of how I listen to music besides vinyl is I put my entire digital collection on shuffle. There's a Smile version that has a lot of the talkback sessions with like Brian Wilson talking to his musicians and be like, Carol, do it again, and they're like laughing. Shut up, Carol. But you hear him and he's so like cogent. So I don't think this has any of that stuff, but it's as part of the Smile box set. So anyway, this has just been on my list to get for vinyl because it's just one of the classic records, and it's also like, I don't buy like $50 records. It's not really my thing. I like try and stay like inexpensive. That's how I curb my habit. So I'm gonna splurge a little today. So this just feels like a good splurge stay because it's gonna stay in the collection forever.
Here we go.
Culminated ruins
This is Nils Fromm. It's Encores 2. He's like a Berlin, kind of like contemporary, kind of like pseudo-classical. He's like an electronic musician, but he's making a bunch of sophisticated music. He's on that label Erase Tapes in the UK that's putting out a lot of really awesome music. And the record that we bought of his last year, All Melody, was like beautifully engineered, recorded. It's outstanding. We wore that out last year, so Encores 1 and Encores 2, this which came out last week, these are like the companion satellite pieces to those sessions. Part of his recording process, he found this concrete culvert that had like the best sounding reverb ever, so he basically took all his favorite outtakes from those sessions, brought the hard drives with him to this culvert somewhere, and played everything through that, and I've been listening on the bus at night the last week, and it sounds dope.
I always liked Chili Gonzales. I liked his production work, with Feist, and also his rap record was really funny. And he had an article in The Guardian that was explaining pop music in musical terms. It's really good.
It turned out I was late, so was the rock star.
We play records all the time in my house, and sometimes it's like, it's snowing or it's chill, and so my kids have basically their go-to record. It's like, can we just put on Chili Gonzales? Because it's the first solo piano record, which is beautiful. It's amazing, beautiful solo piano music. And I'm sure that there's also amazing classical music. I learn about stuff going backwards. I learned about Harry Nilsson from listening to the Walkman cover Pussycats, Harry Nilsson, and I learned about Randy Newman from Nilsson covering Newman. So I feel like I'll do this, and it's like, oh, have you ever listened to Eric Satie? And I'd be like, oh yeah, I should probably listen to that. So I'm kind of still learning, even though I'm a middle-aged dad. But I can't wait. I love this record, and I can't wait.
Okay, but hold on. I want to talk about it too, because I found out about Chili Gonzales from you. We listened to this Windham Hill record label in my parents' house growing up, and they're like a new age record label from the Bay Area. I think new age music is super dope, even though it's really cheesy. I really like Windham Hill music, like the cheesy shit too is totally cool with me, it's fine. But William Tyler, he also loves it. So we kind of bonded over that. So we listened to all these like George Winston piano records, and I always, when I was a little kid, like my mom called that music like bread baking music. That's like new age music.
Oh yeah, that's kind of bread baking music.
But anyways, this is like bread baking music from like the 21st century.
Yeah,
this is like
it's
upgraded,
really good.
and I still like George Winston, but I think that Chili Gonzales is like, has replaced all of that and is amazing, and I can get behind all of it 100%. I don't know, this record is really good.
Cool, good choice. So this is a Richard Swift. This is his posthumous record. This was part one about how fucked up his life was and how crappy it was, and he had another record in him called The Fix, which is just like, there's so much poetry in that. So to be honest, I haven't even listened to this yet because it's like such an emotional thing. I feel like I'm gonna buy this and I don't know when I'm ready to listen to it.
He's also like the first friend and peer that's passed away. Everybody loves Swift, right? He's like a really singular, special, wonderful artist and human.
Every color now is black and blue.
There's a photographer, Elise Gafkin in Nashville, and she shoots a lot of stuff for Auerbach's label, Easy Eye, and she's like a really gifted, wonderful photographer. And she came over to the house and brought with her like 2 beautiful blown up photographs that she'd shot of Swift in the studio. And one of them I got framed and is hanging. It's the only massive piece of like art or photography I have in my studio. Yeah, Swift is like a really special, amazing person.
I went into the $5, sub $5 pile, and I found this Les Baxter record. I think Les Baxter, if I'm doing this right, is an instrumentalist, like composer from the 50s.
Exotica.
He had like Exotica. He was like, it was all like really cool, just really interesting texturally, rhythmically, sonically. It's all like in a room. It's just a really cool thing. So this one is The Sounds of Adventure. I'm listening less to like records, and I'm finding all these weird like instrumental records that I just kind of like putting on. There's all this gems in there. So this is also $3. So that's a big part of why I'm buying that today.
Dope.
I gotta say.
This is Jorge Ben. I have a buddy in New York, Jesse Harris, who's a songwriter and like a really lovely person. And right when we got to town, Jesse hooked me up with like an unbelievable amount of like 60s and early 70s, like Brazilian. There was like a good solid year like that, you know, we listened to almost nothing but Brazilian music around the house. And I'm still like learning a ton about it. I love him, and I don't have this. And it said, you know, the 1972 Samba Soul masterpiece.
Oh yeah.
Marks his creation as the international star he was destined to become. He's also eating an apple on the back. It looks like maybe a gala apple, and his sunglasses are super sick. So anyways, this is destined to become a #1.
It is.
In our household.
Viu maravilha, nós gostamos de você.
Okay, this will be my last one. It's the Glands box set. They're a band from Athens, Georgia. They made a couple amazing records. They made 2, and then this one was again like sort of scrabbled together. But the Glands, it was just one of the weirdest, coolest pop records. When it came out, I was like, oh, this is what our band would sound like if we were cool. It was so effortless and so melodic and musical and just like playful and fun. Mostly I'm just really excited that they reissued this and they boxed it with their first record, which was called Double Thriller, which is hilarious. Just tells you how great these guys were. The Gland is like one of the deepest records in my pop records in my heart.
Thank you so much, guys.
You guys are the best.
Aw.
Thank you so much.